Dr. Cynthia Wong is an assistant professor in the Department of Student Success and Leadership Studies at Utah Valley University. Cynthia earned her doctorate from the University of Southern California in educational psychology with an emphasis in learning and motivation. She has had many epic failures over her lifetime, like when she appeared on the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and went home in debt. Another epic failure was when she joined a mixed martial arts gym and got her butt kicked by an 11-year-old named Adrian. Despite many epic failures, she loves life and lives it to the fullest. Thank you, and let's give it up for Cynthia Wong.
Cynthia's? There we go. Okay, because I have my own mic, my own camera, my own paparazzi, yay. Okay, so to begin today, I need a couple of volunteers, but before you raise your hand, I need these volunteers to be not afraid of failure. So if you are not afraid of failure, need about 3, come on up. Right back here. And in, yes. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so our teams are going to represent our different sections. So tell me your name. Dakota and Romy. Isley. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little task. One of the things as a faculty member here is I have a chance to be involved in the University Innovation Fellows here at UVU. And basically we create really cool things using one of the same processes that Google and Apple uses called human-centered design. So one of the things that we're going to do today is kind of build an experiment live. And I don't know how this is going to work out, so you 3 are going to help me. So right behind here, we're going to maybe scoot over a little bit, is our feedback loop. And this is how we learn. So we're going to start with a hypothesis and then build an experiment. We're going to try some things and then learn from it. So what we're going to use today for our experiment is this bike here, my orange beach cruiser. Okay, so it looks like a normal bike, but there's something a little bit different about it. It's built backwards. So if you steer to the right, it will go left. If you steer to the left, it will go right, okay? So it pedals the same way, it pedals forward, has a brake on the back, and your goal is to get this backwards bike from here to the end of this podium. Okay, not too hard, no? Okay, about 12 feet. So this is your goal. So what I'm going to do is have you guys ride one by one, and you're going to start by getting on the bike. If you feel like you're going to fall, just put your feet down, okay? It's pretty simple. Okay, so first experiment. Okay, who'd like to try it first? Ladies first. Okay.
All right, we're gonna try this.
Okay, so before we begin, let's give her a hand for being our volunteer. Yay. Okay. So remember, your goal is simple. Just get from there to right about here. Okay? Ready? Go. Okay, so we'll roll back and we'll try it again. Okay, goal is to go from there to here. We'll give it take 2, okay? Okay, let's cheer her on. Woo! Okay. Okay, we'll stop right here. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. So.
Roll it back.
Okay, Dakota, how was that for you? Let me grab the mic here really fast.
Okay.
Okay, so Dakota, how was that for you?
Nerve-wracking.
Okay, tell us what was nerve-wracking about it.
Direction. Lost my sense of direction there. Everything was opposite. It forced me to think differently, I should say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, since you're the first one to try it, do you have any insights that you might pass on to the next experimenter to maybe give them a little bit of a heads up?
Reverse your thinking. I don't know. Left is no longer right, and right is no longer left. You've been taught wrong.
Okay, okay, great. All right, let's try it again.
All right.
Let's see if we can get from point A to point B.
We got this.
Okay, 12 feet away from success, okay? You got this. Okay.
I don't like this. Come on, Isley.
All right, one more try. Give it a, okay, you can go backwards. That's cool too. Okay, good try. Good try, Isley. Okay, bring it back, bring it back. Okay, so Isley, what did you learn from that one?
It's a party.
It's a party.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. Any insights for our last trial? This is our last experiment.
It's a lot harder than it looks. But you got it. You're amazing.
We believe in you. You're going to master it.
Okay.
Show us how to do it.
Now, observers, as you guys have been watching, do you guys have any maybe advice, just as an observation standpoint for our experimenters, our brave experimenters? Just pop it out there. Any ideas on how to make this go from point A to point B?
Walk it.
Walk it. Okay, what else? Say it again. Turn the handlebars backwards. Okay. Okay, give it a try. Let's try that. You're almost there.
Try the other
Yeah,
direction.
try the other direction.
You're good.
You got this. Please try it.
All right, Isley, what did you learn from this one? Oh, sorry. Romy.
Well, sometimes you just got to take it slow.
Okay, got to take it slow. Okay, so what does this have to do about failure? What does this have to do with failure? Go ahead.
In order to win, a lot of times you have to fail and fail often.
Okay, fail and fail often. Yes, absolutely. Tell me more about that.
I mean, you can't really build on anything until you've learned what doesn't work. So once you figure it out what doesn't work, it's pretty easy to figure out what does.
Okay, so I'm hearing you have to figure out what doesn't work before you figure out what does work. Excellent insight. Other things about failure. What else? It's okay to fail. Okay, did you guys learn anything from this activity? Okay, teamwork, communication. Romy?
I still can't ride a bike.
Okay, so let's give a hand to our 3 participants. Again, very brave. Let me tell you a little bit about this bike. This bike is nearly impossible to ride. It took the inventor about 8 months to learn how to ride it because it has to do with neuroplasticity. And once we learn something one way, it's really, really tough to unlearn it and do it in a different way. So there are multiple things that go on with bike riding, from the direction, the pull, just the gyration, the speed, so many different factors. So this was setting you guys up for failure. I'm sorry about that. But is failure a bad thing? So I found this acronym that one of my students actually talked about, and the acronym is FAIL, so F-A-I-L. And it means the first attempt in learning. What does that mean to you guys? First attempt in learning.
You're not going to get it right the first time.
Absolutely. You're probably not going to get it right the first time, or the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time, but each time, hopefully, you learn something from it. So this is David Kelly, and he is the founder of IDEA, which is a design firm in San Francisco. And the idea of failing is that with this feedback loop, we want to go through this feedback loop as quickly as possible with the idea that failing faster helps us to succeed sooner. So I want you to think about all the times that you failed in your life, like epic failures, and the different things that you've learned from those failures. So the question I have is, if failure is a good thing, then why do we avoid it? If failure is a good thing, then why do we avoid it? Please.
I think it's honestly the fear of the pain that's caused from failure, or I guess the idea of pain from failure.
Okay, so what kind of pain are you talking about?
The pain of being disappointed, self-doubt, let's see what else. Actual physical pain, depending what it is. Oh, hi, microphone.
Thank you for that.
Other pain being that you didn't succeed, disappointing yourself, disappointing others, just, any type of pain, really.
Okay, so I'm kind of hearing a little bit of emotional pain. There's physical pain, but there's also emotional pain involved. Thank you, Amy, for running that around.
I think we're kind of raised with it too. I think from the time we're younger, we're raised with this sense of there's only one right answer to problems, and if we don't get that one right answer, then we're failures. And we see it in like the school system, and I think in a lot of things we do in life, where it's, okay, there's one right way to do it, and if you don't do it the perfect way, then every other way is just subpar. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, and I heard you actually say a bad word. He said a bad word, everyone. He said the P word, the perfect. Perfect. If we don't get it perfect, then it's not good enough. Right behind Braden.
Another way we avoid failure is by succeeding, actually. And it's our brain's way of saying this isn't the right way to do it, you need to do it this way. From when we were just like learning how to use our hands, if we want to grab it, we have to try again to grab it. But our brain says, you didn't do that, so you have to do it again.
So maybe the idea that we are kind of primed to avoid failure?
I think we are primed to avoid it, and we're primed not to stop moving, but to get it right.
Okay, good insight. Next to you.
I was just going to say, sometimes we feel worry for losing assets, whether that be time or money. For an example, what if we go into the wrong major and then 2 years down the road we decide we don't like it, or a business or whatever it could be. So
sure, there's risks, and there's also opportunity costs that could be involved in it. So those are all excellent points. What I've observed in my lifetime is when failure becomes a problem is when it's linked to an emotion called shame. And what shame causes us to do is to withdraw from our social circles. Shame causes us to kind of close up and not want to reach out, and that's when we start losing our connections to our friends, our family, our professors, our peers. That's when the failure, shame, and then social isolation becomes a problem. So failure itself is not the problem. It's when it leads to shame, and shame leads to social isolation. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to tell you about an epic fail that I had about 3 years ago. So the story is that I was a professor at BYU at the time. UVU's better, by the way. One of my best friends and I decided, we were reading on KSL, and we saw that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was coming to Salt Lake City for the first time ever. And they were going to be doing their road tour and trying to find contestants for their show, their game show. So long story short, I went to this audition thinking, there's no way I'm going to make it. I was really there just to kind of support my friend. And because you have to take a test, and like tests are hard, like PTSD from like taking the ACT test. But I passed the test. It was like miraculous. And then I passed the next round of auditions, and I passed the third round of auditions. So within 2 weeks of going to the audition, I was in New York, and I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? So imagine how exciting this is. Like, oh my, I don't care if I'm a millionaire, but maybe I can hit like the 100,000, and maybe I can hit like, 50,000 or 10,000. I was so excited. So I fly into New York, and at this point, there used to be a feature, if you guys have ever seen it, called Phone a Friend. Do you guys know about that? Yeah. Like, call your friend. Okay, they don't have that feature anymore because people were just like calling their friends, and then that friend was like on Google, and they get the answer right every single time. So they changed the rules, and they said you have to now bring a friend. So I'm like, okay, I have to bring a friend. Who am I gonna bring? In my mind, I was like, I'm gonna bring the smartest person I know, Ken Jennings from Utah, Jeopardy champion, like all-time Jeopardy champion. Well, how am I gonna I don't know Ken Jennings, so how am I gonna find Ken Jennings? Like, oh, I think I'll tweet him. So anyways, Ken Jennings couldn't go. I took my best friend Kirsten instead. So now it's Kirsten. Because you know what I found out later? He wrote the questions, so he was disqualified. But anyways, I take my best friend, I take my other friend from Who Wants to Go too, and now there's 3 of us going to New York. So when I fly in, they put you, you're there for 2 days, filming for 2 days. It's just a lot. They lock you in this room. They take off all, they take away all of your property. They lock you in isolation, kind of like being in prison. No reading material, no anything, no cell phone, no magazines, no books. Can't talk to other contestants about trivia. And then they pull you on stage, and there you are. So here's my big moment, professor. Cynthia Wong from Who's a Professor, and a lot of pressure. So the first question I got was, a cheeky physicist affirmation states, you are living, you occupy space, you have mass, you what? Okay, and the choices are A, quark, B, atom, C, redox, D, matter. So the first thing I'm thinking in my mind is what the heck? I don't know. I don't know. But I just spit out D, matter. It seemed to make the most sense. So the host, Terry Crews, was like, correct. And there's the big smile from getting the first question correct, okay? So yeah, I'm like, okay, on my road to making $500,000. Okay, this is gonna work out. The second question. Louis Van Gogh recently gave DNA samples to US-based artists so they could recreate which of his great-great-uncle's body parts, okay? Whew. So this one's a little bit tougher because I had to reason through it. I know they're talking about Van Gogh, body part, he's an artist, and one of the choices was a finger. You know where I'm going with this, okay? So confident, didn't even use any of my lifelines, and I said, D, artist, final answer, and all of a sudden I saw the host's face fall down. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's incorrect. The correct answer is ear. Correct. You would have made more money than I did. Okay? At that point, all of a sudden, shame. Shame, shame, shame. Here I was, a professor on national TV, and I went out on the second question. Guys, like, there were people, other contestants who went before me, and they were like, didn't know squat. And they made like $50,000. I was like, oh. So what happened was I cried straight. Like right after you're on stage, they whisk you backstage and you have to sign like a legal form. I couldn't even see what I was signing because I was crying through my tears. I cried for like 2 hours straight. And then like the rest of my trip, I had planned to be in New York and have fun. I came home early because I was so shamed. Okay? Now, the next part of the story gets better because what happened was my colleagues all knew I was going to New York to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. They were so excited to figure out how I did. So my winnings, it's a negative 2,500 because you have to like actually fly yourself out there and your friends and pay for your own hotel and your airfare. And so I came home in debt, okay? So epic, epic fail. So that happened. And then, on top of that, my colleagues were like, oh, you're back. Are you a millionaire? Someone check your car to see in the parking lot. Like, if it's a Mercedes, she won $1 million. And then it started to build. They were like, if you won $1 million, like, wink once. Because I couldn't say anything. And I actually couldn't say anything until my show aired, which was 8 months later. So I had this secret for 8 months. So it starts to get closer and closer, and to the day that my show is going to air, and then all of a sudden, my colleagues have this brilliant idea to have a viewing party at BYU, in the public space, on the TVs, in like one of their big lounges. And so, yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Epic fail becomes epic, epic, epic fail, because now I'm going to be shamed all over again. Not just the experience, but now I'm going to public humiliation, public shame. So at that point, again, tears flowing, just so panicked and thinking like I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So it took me about 2 years to get over that, the shame of that experience, and it took me a long time to talk about it. Finally, one day, I was able to look at all the lessons that I learned, and I was writing pages and pages and pages of things. But it was the shame that was the hardest part to deal with. So what we're going to talk about today is how to, I'm going to skip forward a little bit, how to change that feeling, how to disconnect failure and shame. And we're going to do a couple fun things today. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is changing the feeling of failure. Okay, so for this one, I am going to need 5 volunteers. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come on up. And then the rest of you are going to participate as well, okay? Okay. All right, so you 5 are going to be part of our observation group, and over here it's fine. We're not going to ride the bike anymore. You're all excited. Sorry. And what we're going to do is an activity. And so for this activity, everyone in the room will need a partner, okay? And I'm going to have my good friend and colleague Braden demonstrate what we're going to do, okay? So Braden, go ahead and stand up. We're going to play a game together. All of you guys are going to play, so make sure you listen to the directions. We're going to play a game, and it's a simple counting game, okay? All you need to do is count to 3. And so, but we're going to take turns counting to 3. So we're going to demonstrate how it works, okay? So the goal of this is to go as fast as you can, counting 1, 2, 3, rotating in between each other. Can you guys see? Okay, ready? So I'll start with 1, and then Braden's going to go 2, and I'm going to go 3, and we're going to go as fast as we can. Okay, ready? 1,
2,
3,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
1,
2,
2, 3,
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
1.
1. Dang it.
Okay. Okay, let's try again. You start.
1,
2,
3,
1,
2,
3,
1,
2,
3,
1,
1.
3.
Damn.
Okay. Okay, so that's the game, okay? So I want everyone to find a partner pair, stand up, and I'll tell you guys when to go. Okay.
Let's find a partner here.
You tell them because I'm mic'd up. Or you tell them because I'm mic'd up. Okay, come closer.
They're going around to go search, right?
Yeah. You guys get it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, all right, everyone. Okay, listen up. Okay, listen up. Woo-hoo. Hey! Thank you. Okay, so you should be in your partner pairs. When I say 3, we're gonna go and everyone's gonna play the game at the same time. Remember, the goal is to go as fast as you can, okay? 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, stop. Woo, woo. Stop. Okay, have a seat. Okay, observers, come back up. Everyone's have a seat. We lost one of our observers to the backwards bike. Okay, so the question that we gave our observers is, and do we have our mic, our traveling mic? Is what kind of body language you observed when people failed, okay? So we'll start it over here. And what kind of body language did you observe when people failed?
I noticed a lot of people were smiling and they were just kind of like, and they were going backwards like this. Just, oh my gosh, let's try it again. So.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. They were definitely laughing. I felt like when they did mess up, it was almost kind of like a sigh of relief that people had. One reaction I saw that was really fun was a so it was really good. That's why I observed.
All right, same for me, because when I feel like when somebody having fun and then you fail, you actually having fun instead of feeling embarrassed. So if like a guy and the guy's like, oh, you know, the guy or girl, so it's like, you know, so like it's fun watching them. Some of them turn red too, so it's funny.
It was funny because I got hit once, but no big deal. They just got really frustrated. It was interesting to see how the girls would just like laugh off of it, like just totally laugh, and then the guys would just like kind of like this like blink, like the fierce blink, and I was just like, okay. But they would just sigh very much, so yeah.
I thought it was interesting to see kind of the dynamic of this experiment compared to the experiment we had up here, where, you know, they were really frustrated. They were trying to get the bike over to the podium, and with this one, it was a lot of laughing, a lot of fun, a lot of getting to know your partner to get through the experiment.
Okay, so the next question for our observation group is, what happens usually when people feel shamed? Show me a pose of the body language when someone feels shame. Okay, so we have head down. Okay, very good. Hands and face, very good. I don't know what that is. You're too used to taking selfies. Next. Oh, okay, very good. No, okay. Okay, so usually what happens is when we feel shame, we close in, okay? We cross our arms, we put our head down. And those are signals that we're closing in, okay? So what we're gonna do is something different now. We're gonna try to change that emotion, and we're gonna try to make it a positive one. So I'm gonna ask Brayden to help me again, and we're gonna make it harder for you guys, okay? So this time, instead of saying the word to, you're going to clap during the word to, okay? It's harder. So, and we're gonna change one thing. If you guys mess up during this, instead of like, or what you're gonna do is a great big thing that they do in the circus, which is, we'll do it at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! Okay? All right, so Brayden, we're gonna try, okay?
Two's clap.
Two's clap. Okay, ready? 1, 3.
1, 3.
1, 3.
1, 3.
1, 3.
1.
2.
Dang it.
Oh, ta-da! Okay, so we're gonna try that. Everyone stand up, clap on 2, and ta-da when you mess up. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yeah. You have to end in like 3 minutes. We'll go until like that. Okay, everyone. Woo! Okay, have a seat. Have a seat. Okay, everyone, back down, back down. Back down. Back down, back down. Okay, so observers, same or different from the first time?
I saw some very enthusiastic and like flamboyant ta-da, like super pumped, and then like some people who were super avoiding the ta-da. So you're noticed.
Okay, no worries. We'll do it one more time then. Okay.
No, it was probably the same thing for what I observed. A lot of people were actually waiting for the ta-das, which was really funny. But then at the same time, like I saw a group of girls that just didn't want to do it. They were like, ta-da.
Okay, okay. Guys, that will not do, okay? No more ta-da. No. Okay, we're gonna do this one more time then. Okay, this time we're gonna make it super, super hard. So Brayden, and we're still gonna do 1, clap on 2, snap on 3, okay? So we'll show you how this works. Now we're gonna add to our ta-das, and not only are you gonna ta-da, for those of you who were like ta-da, you're gonna ta-da and do a happy dance, okay? So I'm gonna show you how this works. There we go, happy dance. Okay, here's how it works. So 1.
1.
Ta-da! Okay, so we're gonna try it one more time. Again, if we see you like ta-da, we're gonna call you out. You're gonna dance in front of everyone. So one more time, let's try it one more time. Okay, have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat. Woo-hoo. Have a seat.
Everyone have a seat, folks. Have a seat.
Okay. Okay, thank you for my observers. My question to you now, thank you guys. Let's give them a hand for our observers. Go ahead. You guys can sit down, thank you. Okay, my question now is, how do you feel? How many of you guys actually feel better after this exercise than when we started? Raise your hand if you feel better. Raise your hand if you still feel weird. Okay, so what we did in this exercise is we changed the emotion that is involved with failure. So no longer is it a shame. Is it a shame? Is it a shame to fail? Now it's a celebration. And the slides that I skipped over, it's cool because Google X has a secret lab where they're actually encouraged to fail. How are they encouraged to fail? They're actually given raises and promotions and applause when they fail, because they know that to fail faster is to succeed sooner. Okay, I think we have time for one more activity. And this is what I'm gonna shortcut this a little bit, but this activity is taken from improv comedy. Tina Fey most recently wrote a book called Yes and. So the idea of this is that we want to not shut down people's ideas, because that's another way that we create shame. So I might not have time for this video, but let me show you the idea of it. Okay. So I'm gonna use Braden again, okay? So Braden is really excited because he is planning what kind of event?
Pool party.
A pool party, okay? So Braden is gonna be creating a pool party, and he has contacted me to bounce some ideas off, okay? And so I'm gonna have you verbalize your plans for this pool party, and I'm gonna just kind of give you some feedback. Okay, go for it.
So I was thinking a slip and slide.
Where are you gonna get the water from?
The hose.
The hose? That's not gonna be enough water to make it go.
How about food? Food. I was wanting lots and lots of food.
Okay,
Like-
so do you have money for the food?
Well, I'll find money. I mean,
Okay, you'll find. Oh, okay. So food. What kind of food are you thinking?
like Doritos.
Ew, that's gross.
Soda.
So.
Do you like no soda?
I don't know.
No soda.
No,
All right.
I don't know. That doesn't sound very good. It upsets my stomach. You
Okay,
know, especially on slip and slide.
Well, the swimming. It is a pool party, therefore
Pool party.
swimming pool. Yes.
Oh no, hell no! I'm not going swimsuit. Sorry. Okay, so that's the example. Okay, Braden, how do you feel?
I feel terrible.
Terrible. Because why?
All my ideas were shot down.
Okay, so we're gonna change that. Okay, so in improv, what we're gonna do is get rid of we're gonna get rid of the shutdown, and we're gonna try to encourage his ideas by using two simple words, and the words are yes and. Okay, so he's gonna plan a different party, and let's see how this kind of works out. Okay, let's do a different theme than pool party.
You want to pick it?
You can pick it.
All right. We're going to a movie.
Okay, we're going to a movie.
We're gonna have an outdoor movie.
Outdoor movie. Okay, that sounds fun.
All right.
Okay, ready, Braden? Go for it.
Okay, so I want a big blow-up screen with those huge ones that you can sit out there, kind of like the blow-up toys.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. That sounds cool.
Yeah, and let's see, and I want to do it in this park over here in Orem, like close to the Sierra pool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know that park. Yeah, and we can maybe invite some people to the park too.
That's
Are you
awesome.
thinking-
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know tons of these lead students who'd love to go.
Tons of lead students. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd
we
be
can have
great.
lead students maybe and with their families and their friends.
That's beautiful. I love it. Let's
Yeah,
see.
what else?
Food. I always love food.
Oh, me too. Okay. Yeah, what are you thinking for food?
Let's see. Donuts. I love donuts. I want
donuts.
lots and lots of donuts.
Okay, yeah, and what if they were able to maybe decorate their own donuts? What do you think about that?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Okay, okay, so what we're trying to do with the yes and is to really instead of shutting people down, what we're gonna try to do is draw out the best ideas, the most innovative ideas by using those words, okay? So this is how it plays out as a professor. Thank you, Braden. Let's give him a hand, please. Okay, so as a professor, I make it a rule to never say the word no in my class. It doesn't matter like what the student says. I want them to be able to say what they're thinking, what they're feeling, but not ever feel ashamed about it. So these are some of the terms that I use when I'm working with my students. Okay, Brayden, what's 1 plus 1? 10. Okay, tell me more about that. Okay, I didn't say no, I said tell me more about that. Okay, Brayden, what's 1 plus 1? 10. Okay, tell me where you're coming from. Okay, just an example, but to not say the words no, but to open up the dialogue by using like a yes and. So as leaders, how can you use this when you're working with people? Any ideas? Go for it.
If you're working with a committee or a group of peers, and then someone brings an idea, instead of shutting them down automatically, you can just be like, well, let's keep that in mind. Any other suggestions? Like, what could we do?
There you go. And I saw you avoid saying the word but.
Yeah.
Right? So the no's and the buts, that's what we're trying to get rid of. Good catch, because you were able to like notice that that was a shutdown. And you said, instead, you said and. Very good. Okay, how else can you use this? Over here. Sorry, Amy. Running her around.
Another way to use this is obviously when you're working with people in the workplace, if there's ever like a situation of needing to know what to do. I work in a kitchen, so I have to communicate to those who come in after me. And so I guess a way that I could use this is anytime we're doing setup, everybody has their own different setup, and it's good to have something that's set or something that we can all agree on. And so I like to talk with them and be like, okay, what do you prefer? What do you like as a setup? Oh, this is really good. This will work for this part of the dish, and this will work for this. I think that this would be really cool also. What do you think? And so I think finding out what they think and feel about whatever it is that you guys are talking about, and then collaborating with that once you guys get both of your guys' things laid out on the table. So.
Yes, so this is the language that creates collaboration and it creates connection. And when we have those things, innovation happens, okay? So, takeaways for tonight, aside from the backwards bike is thing of the devil, okay? Takeaway for tonight is to disassociate failure from shame. And instead, create a way to connect with people by changing the feeling of failure and also changing the language of failure. Thank you very much.